Hey yo, welcome back to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. We got a quad box this evening. Gentlemen, how are you?
Box.
Hey yo.
Doing well,
Oh,
boys. Love it. The
doing
quad box.
great. Monday Night Football. Let's
Finally.
go.
Well,
It's
not
been
Monday
a
night.
finally, I
while,
should
hasn't it,
say.
boys?
Yeah. Well, it feels
Fun.
Dun
like
dun dun
when an
dun dun
impactful
dun
game
dun dun
on
Yeah,
Monday.
Pilates sending the nice wake up text this
dun
morning,
dun
letting
dun
us
Oh
know
dun.
it's
yeah, it
ready.
was,
Time to wake up, rise and
dude.
shine.
I'm telling you, this I'll do the maybe the earliest oh yeah we've ever had, but oh yeah, it's a Monday Night Football theme. Like when the Patriots are on Monday night and that theme comes on, it's next level. It feels like a big game. It's the game of the day. So pumped for it. So Patriots reaction going to be right at the end of this episode. We're going to do our normal episode right now. We're going to talk a little bit about NFL, what happened around the league, going all the way back to Thanksgiving, boys, and through the weekend. So we're going to start off there. Once again, Pat's reaction right at the end of this episode, Monday Night Football. A few of us will hop on late after the game, give our instant takes and reaction, and we'll get this episode out as soon as we can. So without further ado, gentlemen, let's rewind to Thanksgiving. Everyone seemed to have a good one, and three very good games across the league that day. Feel free to pick at the football turkey in any way, shape, or form that you would with those games. Big E's
I mean, I think you
green
got
and
to
ready
go.
to
He's
go.
rearing to
I
go.
think I think you got to start with like the two classic games that are always part of
That's right.
of the Thanksgiving tradition, and let's kick it off with the Lions and Packers first because they were the first game on the slate. Some people start their Thanksgiving early, some people start it late. Well, you want to know what? We had a great appetizer or main course, whatever you want to call it, with that first game. Oh man, did the Packers come out to play? And there's something certainly wrong with the Lions. And yes, I know that Amon Ra went down on like the first series, which is huge loss for the Lions. But this Lions team can't seem to string together like wins in a row all season. And for the Packers, they have been really inept offensively for like the last month or so,
So,
and they kind of woke up this game. So that was a big thing that I saw.
so
And,
do we
and
think the departure of Ben Johnson from the Lions has anything to do with their
And their
struggles?
defensive
I,
coach
I
too.
I think it's got more to do with the defensive coach leaving than Ben Johnson because if you look at it, they've been putting up a lot of points throughout the league this year. It's not their offense that's been the problem. They even put up 24 against the Packers, and the Packers have a good defense. It's their
Mhm.
defense. Their defense is a sieve. They can't stop anything or anyone, and that's ultimately going to do them in come playoff time if they're even able to make it. Because right now they got an uphill battle. The Bears are division leaders right now, and you got the Packers literally right behind them. So they got to leapfrog two teams to get to the division lead, and right now they're basically in the hunt for the playoffs on the outside
Best
looking
division
in.
in football, question mark?
It's
Perhaps
got, it's got to be up there.
who I mean, nobody had the Chicago Bears being at nine
No.
and three, having a Patriots like turnaround. Let's be honest. First pick in the draft, Caleb Williams. They go into Philadelphia Black Friday. I know we're bouncing around, which is
Yeah,
completely fine,
it's fine.
but that was unbelievable. Chicago really sort of dominated that. Now Philly's had their problems. You want to know who Philly reminds me of is the 2019 Patriots, a team that has all the talent in the world, but for whatever reason just cannot put it together. And you know something's wrong. That team is not a Super Bowl winning team this year.
Is
The
there is
Philly
there something
Eagles.
wrong with Saquon? Like he just doesn't look like the same player. He looks like a shell of
Gabe,
himself.
we're gonna have to get Uncle Lee back
We
to
are. We're gonna need some
get.
Uncle Lee insight on the Philadelphia or the state of the Philadelphia
Their
Eagles.
defense is nasty. It's their offense which is the problem.
Yeah.
And
They
that's
So
have the exact opposite problem that the Detroit Lions have.
and that's the thing is like I still find it hard to count Philadelphia out even with maybe all the strife that's going on in the locker room or with the coach or who knows what's really going on. But they've got the defense, like you said, Ian. Um, defense wins championships. Maybe not as much these days as it was in the past, but that can get them a far way. And so I don't see them as being uh, not necessarily out of the Super Bowl contention this year.
It's kind of a wide open year in general, and let's talk about wide open. Go back to Thanksgiving, Cowboys Chiefs. The Cowboys have come on hot as of late. Prescott playing well, George Pickens fucking jumping over people. It
He's
was
great.
that was an unbelievable game, maybe the game of the day. In Kansas City now 6-6 and has got to make some moves here to get in the playoffs. Kraz, you look interested in Kansas City not being in position.
So my whole thing is everyone's like Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. What did Tom Brady do in his 30-year-old season? Oh, he just went 16-0. That's it. And that's so it goes back to the whole, oh, Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. No, he's not. The new NFL is it's much more faster, it's much quicker, it's much more violent. um, there's more injuries, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but that's just the way that the game goes, and the amount of pressure, like literally physically, that they put on their bodies is enormous, and it only gets bigger every year. So it, there's no way they're gonna three-peat. I mean, they
I mean, I'm looking
the
at their schedule right now. They got 5 games left. They have to go basically probably
Chargers,
4-1. Four,
Houston,
no, they have to go 4-1, right? They got
yeah,
Houston coming up, then the Chargers, then they got the Titans, which is a nice gimme game for them. Then
yeah,
they got the Broncos,
which is
which is at home. So I will say that is something that's an advantage for the Chiefs. And then they have the Raiders. Those are
the,
three tough
The-
games and then 2 games that they should win. So
Absolutely, and
they have to basically take 2 of those 3 hard games.
and the biggest thing that this all plays into, Eric, is also then the night game where Joe Burrow's back. Bengals beat the Ravens. So you got the Ravens who are at 6-6. You got you got the Chiefs that are at 6-6. You have Buffalo who rebounded this weekend. But those are the three teams coming into the season. I think all of us said, the AFC is going to go through that. Obviously, Burrow being injured makes Cincinnati not there. But this is why the Patriots got to go win tonight, get themselves to 11-2. They're up against Denver now from a standing standpoint, and they're vying for the 1 seed. And for home playoff games to happen at Gillette, we know that becomes a place that you want to play football in January and
Yeah.
February.
Tonight has become a huge, huge game just with how the standings are shaping up. And, the Patriots have their bye week, and then coming off the bye, they're playing Buffalo. So, you don't want to go 0-2 in a 3-week stretch here. I think they really, and I have full faith that Vrabel will preach to them that they want to end strong here and then going to the second half or the the latter half of the season, feeling good and having a few games under their belt where they don't necessarily need to put so much pressure on themselves to win. And so that's why I think tonight is like you got to beat the Giants.
It's a huge game, but I think, obviously, like it's a big game because the Broncos beat the Commanders last night in overtime, which was a pretty entertaining game for a game that I didn't think was going to be as entertaining and ended up being a blowout. But the Broncos also have a really tough schedule coming up here too. So like, let's not kind of gloss over that. They're going to play the Raiders next week. Then they're hosting the Packers, hosting the Jaguars, playing at the Chiefs, and then they're hosting the Chargers. So I would say 4 out of those 5 games are pretty tough. And if you look at their schedule compared to our schedule, they need to probably go what 3-2, 4-1 to have a chance of really 4-1 to have a chance at that 1 seed. And I think that's a very tall task with everything that I'm seeing on their schedule.
I agree, but I think it comes down to the Patriots. Like you control your own destiny. I think if they win out and take care of business, that they will be the overall number 1 seed. So it's a big game tonight for the Pats. Any other pickings from the
Yeah, one
weekend,
game I
fella?
don't want to gloss over the LA Rams versus Carolina Panthers
Great
game.
game.
That was a great game. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. Are the Panthers legit now? Like, I mean, the Patriots smacked them earlier in the season, but teams are still kind of figuring it out at that point. I mean, I have the LA Rams as Super Bowl favorites. And that game made me see that they're they're
They're
not invincible and they can also be taken down just like any other team in this league. So I don't know. Yeah.
Other thought in that game is Carolina can win that division in the NFC South. Like
Yeah.
the Bucks are clearly hurting right now with all of the injuries, and yes, they're getting some reinforcements here, but it looks like the Panthers are coming on at the right time, and like they're a team that really is riding off the like no one believed in us type mentality. Um, and it also makes that win that we had against them look a lot better. So I'm not gonna say that like there's nothing to be gained for Carolina in that game. I think that they have a lot of momentum coming out of that game.
Yeah, it's been a fun NFL season. The Jags and Texans as well win their respective games, and so the AFC, I guess that's the South,
South.
becomes a division, that's sort of up for grabs. That's the thing. There's a lot of jockeying for position. There's a lot of teams that are in the mix that I don't think folks thought would be in the mix this year. So. I think it's been a good year for the NFL, to be quite honest, and I think it's been a good
There's
time.
only five teams as of right now that have been eliminated from playoff contention. Like only five through week 13. And yes, there's two games that are still
Giants.
left to be played, but the Giants are already eliminated. So like that's pretty impressive. So that means most teams have a shot. And like I'm looking at the calendar, at the schedule here. Even teams like Miami that started off putrid. I think they were like what 1-6 or 5-7 now, right? So like
Three in a row.
could could they make it on in as a wild card? Probably not, but anything could happen.
Anything could happen, especially with the seventh wild card spot being up for grabs. So, uh, great NFL weekend, multiple games every day. Loved having it on throughout the course of the weekend. Big game for the Pats, as we mentioned off the top. Instant Pats game reaction at the end of this episode. If you want to like make your episode customized, go to the end, go listen to that. Then you can come back to right here in this point, and we're gonna move on. Gabe takes a big sip of water as we get ready to talk Bruins and hockey. Yes, loosen up the vocal cords, my friend. Uh, and so a good week for the Bruins. They continue to stay afloat amidst the injury bug. And Gabe, take it away on the week that was.
Absolutely. Last episode we were saying that injuries are starting to take a toll on this Bruins team, and they really just need to stay afloat. They need to get points wherever they can find points. And that's what they did this past week. I mean, they go 2-1 since the last time we met. They beat the Islanders in regular time. They did have a tough loss against the Rangers, which, they were without Pasternak, without Zaka. I think they were filling in positions on the go there, and I can see why they got spanked the way they did, but also, they had a bit of a valiant effort towards the end. They brought it to 4-2, I believe, and then the floodgates opened and the Rangers took that one. But and then they beat Detroit in a shootout. So the Bruins are looking fine here. I mean, they've played the most games, I think, out of any team in the league right now. So that's something to take into consideration.
Games in
I'll say
hand.
that for J Matt. Yeah. Um, but they're right. They're second place in the Atlantic Division right now. It's ever changing. Teams go up, they go down. It's a really competitive division. So as long as they can just coast on the roller coaster, I think they have a good chance to make it to the trade deadline, potentially looking to add. They do have the picks to add some pieces to this team. Will Don Sweeney, have the balls to do it? I don't know. But Swayman, I just wanted to highlight Jeremy Swayman this year has come back into form. I can say that confidently now. It was looking a little iffy in the beginning, but he's definitely back into form and helping this team come out with wins. Detroit is a great example, winning in the shootout. And we talk about Morgan Geeky, I think, every episode, but the guy is just on an absolute tear. He's got 20 goals now, tied with Nathan McKinnon, still at the top of the league in goal scoring, which is, I mean, Nathan McKinnon is cream of the
One
crop.
of the
And
best.
Yeah.
they interviewed Geeky about that, and they're like, "How does it feel to be tied with Nathan McKinnon?" And he's like, he totally is he's so humble. He's like, I really didn't think I would be there at all. Um, so it's a great thing to see for Geeky. I think what Josh gave us some good stats. I wanted to find them real quick. He is sorry.
No, I'll fill the
No,
time
you're
as you
good.
look that up,
No, I
Gabe.
got it. I
Go
got
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Uh, he is scoring on 29% on the shots that he's taken this year. 20 goals on 70 shots equals 39%. That is kind of an unheard of number in the
He's
hockey
sniping.
world. What's that?
He's just sniping. Like like that one timer he had the other day. He's just picking out spots, and it's been unbelievable. Like that's got to be the perhaps the best contract in the NHL right now for all the shit
Yeah.
that Don Sweeney gets. I mean, that guy's producing at an unbelievable level to in keeping this team in it.
I mean, he could put up 50 goals this year for all we know, and he might have to because Pasternak, it's going the opposite direction here. Not because of lack of effort, but I believe there's an injury going on now that people thought was going to be short term. Now it seems like it's extending a bit. The Bruins they are going on the road, I believe in like not this week, but next week. And the Bruins brass are saying he might not be available until after that road trip. So that's 2 weeks without Pasta. I'm extremely curious to see how this team puts it together without one of their leading playmakers, goal scorers. Um, and again, that brings it back to Geeky continue on the hot streak, and maybe some other guys will step up, but it's kind of, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But Bruins are
Any
they're playing well still. They're still
any
playing well, granted with the injuries. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on how you're feeling about the season.
any word on Charlie and when he's going to be back, or no? Just out. He's just out indefinitely at this point, right?
McAvoy,
Yeah.
I think he's been seen practicing with the team. So he could be back potentially. I don't know. I'm not really sure what his timetable looks like. I also don't know if I'd rush him back with
At this
just the
point,
trauma of that injury.
yeah, at this point, I feel like the team is in a place where it's like there's been guys in and out of the lineup all year long, so maybe they're sort of used to next man up sort of mentality. So credit to Marco Sturm from that standpoint. Uh, and so the biggest thing is you got to ride the goalie. And Swayman, what you said, Gabe, is he's returned to form. He's been the guy that you gave the big contract to this year. Um, and he's a Vezina candidate at this point of the season, and he's stealing
Player of the
games.
week.
He's player of the week. I mean, he had a great
Hey,
showing in the shootout and locking things down against Detroit. So, like, he's back to form. I forget what show today, but he may be in line to be the starting goalie for Team USA come the Olympics, given his performance and some of the other guys. I think Ottinger is not having a good year, and I forget what Stiff cost us in uh, the fake tournament last year, whatever that was, the Frozen Four, whatever. What the fuck was that
hey, that
called?
got the people up. The
It
Four
did. That
No,
was
that
a
was
Nations,
that was
like it was
great
like
for
the ML.
hockey.
It was like the
Four
World
Nations,
Cup.
I
It was
think.
like
The
the
Four
World Cup, but
Nations.
it
There we
wasn't the
go.
World
Four
Cup.
Nations.
I know what you're talking about. The World Baseball Classic, Krasy.
That's coming up soon,
That
and my
is.
money's on Japan. As much as I love, we'll get
That's
to
a
who's
that's a
pitching on
that's
the
a
USA
good
from
that's a
our
good
team, but
solid bet. That's a good place to put your money with the gambler Shohei Ohtani. And
they are very well disciplined.
speaking about a league that has gambling issues sometimes, uh,
Woohoo!
Sometimes
let's move on to Gabe. Good stuff with the Bruins there. Let's move to the Celtics and
We got the bull gang. We're switching over from the ice to the parquet. So
yeah,
Yeah.
we've usually gone the opposite direction, but I kind
well,
of
the
like
bull
ice to
gang's doing the other
parquet.
thing. So we're wrapping the ice up. We're putting the cover
Pit
on.
crew.
Yep, and we're putting the parquet down, and we're about to talk a little
does
Celtics. So
anybody remember that game? I think it was back in 2009, 2010 when there was a day game for the Bruins, and then they switched it over. There was a nighttime game, and there was like a moist or like a spot that kept getting condensation, and like Do you guys remember that game
Uh,
at all?
the towel
Vaguely,
there's a
The
vaguely.
great
towel
I
kids
do
kept coming
because
out.
Tommy was going bananas about the towel boys. Look at
Oh
them,
Can we
they're
get
yeah,
a,
out there again.
can we get an oh yeah for Tommy? Oh yeah.
Oh
Love
yeah,
Tommy.
Tommy was
Tommy
yeah.
Heinsohn, the
Must have been
best
like
of
a
the best.
Tommy's
warm
like
like
all of our
September or October
grandfathers.
day.
Oh,
I
We
think
grew
it
up with
was.
Tommy. All right. All right,
Biggie
we're
take it
Yeah,
transitioning
away.
to the parquet. We're going to move on. So, parquet's been placed down. We're going to talk a little Celtics. Weirdly enough, the Bruins went 2-1 over the last week, so did the Celtics. But with the Celtics, it's never easy. So, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened. So, going back to last week, we had a nice little appetizer before Thanksgiving on that Wednesday with a nice 5 p.m. game over the Pistons with the game against the Pistons. Celtics ended up eking that game on out, very close one against Pistons, coming down to free throws at the end. It ended the 12-game win streak that the Pistons had up until that point. So that was a pretty big win for the Celtics. They end up having their Thanksgiving. They're probably a little too lethargic after that Thanksgiving. Traveled to Minnesota for a game on Saturday night in a little bit of snow in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and end up losing a close one to the Timberwolves on the road. That's the Timberwolves' first win against a 500 plus team this year. So that just shows you that the Timberwolves, while they do have a pretty decent record, I think they were 13-9 at the time that they played the Celtics. They have not been able to beat anyone that's been relatively good this year. So the Celtics are the first one for them. And then they closed on out the week with a back to back in Cleveland on Sunday. And one other note before we get to that back to back, Jaylen Brown did have a triple double in that loss against the Timberwolves. So good effort from him. He was a big reason why they stayed in the game, but they did obviously lose that one. And then won a close one against the Cavs on the road where Peyton Pritchard goes off for 42. So overall, like good week for the Celtics going 2-1, continuing to put winning weeks in a row here, which is nice. But there are some themes that I want to talk about. First thing, Celtics.
But I was gonna say more than anything, like we talked about last week or last episode, what we wanted from this team off of this road trip and what we thought would be acceptable for this team moving forward, and that was a 2-1 record. This team we know has issues and always will have issues closing out games. That's just who they are. That's just their mentality, I think, at this point. Um, but the one thing I wanted to touch on before we, went into the not negatives, but the things that we can kind of pick at is Jordan Walsh. And
Yeah.
the emergence of him as a defensive just levy. I mean, he's just unstoppable. I mean, he is essentially what every guy that we've had prior to him, Drew Holiday, Marcus Smart. It seems like Jordan Walsh is kind of fitting that. He clamped down Cade Cunningham towards the end, and that was huge for us.
You know
And
who he
I
kind of
just wanted
reminds
to
me of,
give him
Sam?
his roses.
He kind of reminds me of Avery Bradley back in the day, where like he was such a good defender, could do some things offensively. I'm
Mhm.
not certainly going to put him in the
Hit the
Drew
open
Holiday
three.
or Marcus Smart territory at
Yeah,
this point because those guys are better offensive players than Jordan Walsh is. But his defense has been absolutely amazing. And I think the cool thing about the Jordan Walsh story is going back a month ago, he was on the bench. He wasn't even really seeing minutes off the bench. He goes from that to being not just like a starter, but he is firmly
34 minutes.
locked into the starting five at this point. So, is he a player that you can have with you for the future? Yeah, because his defense alone is worthwhile, and I think these are the things that we're looking for this season. Championship. Do we believe that that's going to happen this year? No, but like it's all about you know just because we don't think it could happen, it certainly could with Tatum coming back. But building for the next iteration of this team, you need players like Jordan Walsh to be those defensive glue guys going forwards.
And here's the thing that you talk about with Jason Tatum coming back, and you guys can chime in too, is we're finally, we went 2-1. We squeaked out those wins, squeaked out those wins. But again, that's just our style of play. We won those games. We went 2-1. That shows us kind of who we are. We're starting to form this identity, right? This is what we've been talking about since the beginning of the season. When Jason Tatum comes back in, is that going to disrupt everything? I mean, not that it's going to
I
disrupt
don't think so.
everything, but is he just going to seamlessly kind of fall into, and then
I
you know what
I
I mean?
I
Like,
think it
what are you?
pushes guys down to their roles for where they should be instead of where they're playing right now.
yeah, I
And they
think
just feel at ease.
the biggest thing that Eric, I agree. Like there's this team has issues. This team really should be 13-7, 14-6 because that game versus Brooklyn, the game versus
Mhm.
Philadelphia, and there's one or two others that you can throw in
Two
there
games
that
versus Philly. Two.
Minnesota.
two
Yeah.
games versus Philly, the Minnesota game they could have won. The Utah game was a disaster.
But
Like
they could have lost so many of these games that they won too, so it goes both
right,
ways.
which is exactly true. Listen, to be 11-9, they're on that teeter of being in the play-in or being a playoff team. You know, if you can stay out of the play-in, that's big. Uh, I think if you can get into the 4 or 5 seed range and try and get it up into that level, which is going to require them to continue to have weeks like this, Kraz, as they've had in winning weeks. You know, the season only gets tougher with the opponents that they have coming up. There's no walk in the park here for the Celtics over the next couple of weeks. All quality opponents for them. Uh, the biggest thing that I've seen is Jaylen Brown. I think has elevated himself into that number one role. He's playing.
Correct.
Already has more 30-point games this season than he had last year, all together. And the biggest thing is that when Tatum does come back, does Brown have a little bit more? Brown still has problems turning the fucking ball over.
Correct.
He'll kick the ball at least 3 times during the game, but he's elevated his play to be that 1A player and has shown that he can be that guy. He doesn't have the best supporting cast right now. I mean,
Correct.
Pritchard going off for 42 is not going to be a nightly occurrence.
I think the thing too about Jaylen Brown that like yes he can score. We've always known he could score, and I think it's the other things that he's doing. Like
Passing.
his numbers right now through 20 games, he's averaging 28.4 points, 6.2 rebounds, and
What
4.8
was this?
assists. It's
What's
the
this plus
4.8
minus?
assists. I don't know. I can pull that up in a second, but
I got it.
his 4.8 assists to me is the one that pops out the most because that means he's distributing the ball. And when you are on the court and you're not just making shots, but you are facilitating the ball to others who are making the shots, that means that you're impacting the game in other ways. The 6.2 rebounds, I think historically he's probably around like high fours. So he's also picking up more of that. And that's also just like, some of this is just a microcosm of the roster as well. Like we don't have big men that are really rebounding the ball well. So that means Jaylen Brown needs to do more things. I just pulled a couple of guys that I think we would all agree are 1A players across the league. And I just wanted to pull up their numbers here real quick just to kind of compare to Jaylen Brown. Again, 28.4 points, 6.2 rebounds, 4.8 assists. Donovan Mitchell, 29.9 points, 4.8 rebounds, 5.5 assists. Jalen Brunson, 28.5 points, 3.4 rebounds, 6.2 assists. Anthony Edwards, 28.9 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3.9 assists. Jaylen Brown belongs in the 1A conversation based on just numbers alone, and the eye test more than the numbers also tells us that as well. So again, it's not his fault that the roster is not as good around him this year as it was in past years. Whether that's Tatum, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Cornett, you name it, everyone that's gone, he is doing what he can with what he has, and he should be commended for stepping into that role and up leveling his game.
And on
Undoubtedly,
top of that, it's not like things have changed for him as far as his minutes goes and how many times he's getting the ball. I'm looking at it right now. His minutes, 34 minutes last season. You know, this season he's averaging 33.1. Last season, field goals, he was, from 8.2 to 17.7. This year, he's 10.6 to 21.6. So, I mean, you know, it's pretty much the same for the most part. So,
And he's getting those numbers without taking as many threes as well. That's the other impressive thing I think
correct.
he
you have to
is.
look
Yeah.
out. But not to steal Eric's thunder, but it feels like when the Celtics play, they're in it no matter what, whether the team is good or bad.
Mhm.
It's just a constant slugfest, a physical game, whether we love it or not. The only, there's a few teams that, like Houston, I would say, yeah, they really don't stand
Took it
up
to us.
well against Houston, but uh, when we looked at the schedule last week, Detroit and Cleveland and
He
Minnesota,
made a hardo against us.
it's just like I don't know, like yeah, those are good teams,
No one got
but
that. No.
the Celtics have played them so many times, and it's not like they know their tendencies, and they're able to play close with them, and that's gonna be huge for this team moving forward.
And I think as fans for the team, like it's good and it's bad. It's
Oh
bad
yeah.
because like there aren't going to be many blowout games where you can breathe, but it's also good because it means almost every game is going to be entertaining because they're going to be in the mix whether they're up or whether they're down. You know that they're going to do what they can to claw back and get into the game, or if they're up big, you know that they're going to do something where they're going to give the lead away and it's going to end up being competitive. So from a fan standpoint, regardless of like being a Boston Celtics fan, if you're a fan of basketball, you should be excited to watch any Celtics game because it's going to be a close one.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we get Jason Tatum back at some point, and that's a top three player in
Don't
the league.
don't
So
sleep on Brad
Whoa.
Stevens making trades too around this deadline. I still think that there are more
The,
moves to be had.
you'll see what we'll see what happens from that standpoint. Get to the postseason. Players like Jordan Walsh, Kada, and one or two other guys off the bench. A guy like Sam Hauser struggling this season mightily. Derek White is a good player, but maybe more well versed in that 3 or 4 spot role as opposed to trying to be the number two. So Tatum coming back will have big implications. And Kraz, if you can go on a run and try and get to the championship, I think the East is kind of wide open this year.
get us
There
a big
isn't.
man. Now I'm all in for trading Simons. Get us a big man for Simons.
Can we get Claxton from the Nets? That dude like would fit this roster so well. I don't know if there's a way
And
that we
get
can
rid
make it
of Bobby
happen.
Boucher because he's done nothing. Go
Except
trade
except for
those contracts
except for
and
send cryptic messages on Instagram of
send those
LOL.
contracts out and get something in return. Kudos to Xavier Tillman keeping himself ready and coming in off the bench. A guy that doesn't play 6 or 7 games and then has impact. So,
That guy.
it's good. It's good to have a player like that. And Celtics just got to keep the winning ways going here. Continue to have winning weeks. Come away with 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. And as Gabe said, it's going to be an ugly watch, but it's going to be entertaining to see. And at some point, the Tatum chatter will start in terms of when it's going to start to look like it. He's in the gym. I've seen him. It looks like he's you know obviously no contact, no nothing other than himself, but it looks
Don't
like he's
breathe
doing
on
the
him.
drills and sort of going at it the way that you would hope to be seeing.
We've been
So
chatting about it for a long time now.
I know, but if you really think about it, he got injured 7 months ago. The fact that we're talking about it is fucking insane as well.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he that we all think that he's going to come back at some point this season. I mean, many players would just say, write it off, let me get back and be good to go 16 months down the line.
And you want to know what? If the team ultimately decides come February or March that it doesn't seem like it's worthwhile and they want to give him more time to rehab,
You can't hate that.
I'm gonna trust whatever the team decides to do with Tatum. So hopefully he's back and he's playing because it seems like from everything that we've seen that he's going to most likely get there, but the team also reserves the right to do what is the best thing for his future, not for this current team's future for this year.
Undoubtedly. Good stuff on the Celtics, boys. Let's turn the page to a team that did make a decision for the future of it. And this happened right after we recorded last week, so we haven't had a chance to talk about the Red Sox. Bring in Sonny Gray, Kraz, making some moves here. The stovetop, you put out a great video across the socials with the instant reaction, but let's talk about it here. Red Sox going out and getting Sonny Gray. Who did they send out, Chris?
Yeah, they sent out. Let's see if I can do this off the
Brandon
top of my
Clark.
head
I
here.
remember that.
Dick
So
Fitz.
they ended up getting, yeah, they got
Dick
Dick. They
Fitz.
ended up sending Dick Fitz and Brandon Montgomery, I believe, over to um the St.
St.
Louis Cardinals
Louis.
for right-handed pitcher Sonny Gray. A lot of the chatter that I'm hearing on Reddit is Sonny Gray is one of the most valuable two guys that we could have gotten. And that actually this actually is they're playing for the number two guy. We'll see how that works moving forward. He does have experience pitching in the AL East because he did play for the Yankees for a bit. So uh, with that, I'm not really too concerned. As far as media pressure, I feel like he'll do just fine here. But again, he's a guy that he had 100, I believe it was 181 innings pitched. He had 108 or 180 strikeouts. He went 14-8 with a 4.28 ERA. It's he's a guy you're gonna want. Big, knock on wood. With Lucas Giolito, that was the one thing I was afraid of was him getting injured, and he unfortunately got injured at literally the worst time that you could possibly get injured. The last game that he was playing before the playoffs. So that really fucked us, and I think in the long run, I think if we had Giolito going into the postseason, we would have made a much further push. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We still put up a decent little fight against the Yankees, but I still think having that ultimate number two is really going to help us beneficially. Connolly early has put on 10 pounds of muscle, which I find to be quite odd because Marcelo Mayer has only been able to put on two, but well, we'll just sure. Okay. That's fine.
Well,
He's a
and
The
bigger
that
kid.
spinach,
league's
like
got
Mr.
no issues either.
Strongman.
They got no issues with performance enhancing anything, right? So like
He's
they also got their gambling issues there too in that league.
yeah,
Let's call a spade a spade.
he's a bigger kid. Again, a lot of people are saying he's the real deal. There's a little bit of talk on the street right now that um the Royals are looking for an outfielder and they're willing to part ways with one of their top pitchers, a kid by the name of Carl Reagan, Ragan, not Regan. Um, and so if we could, package together something for him, that would be a legitimate number two guy behind Crochet, and then you throw in Sonny Gray and Bayo and Early or Toll or whomever that might be behind him, Sandoval, and you have yourself a pretty established rotation. As far as big bats, the word on the street is that they're aiming for two, be it Bregman and Schwarber and Alonso and Bregman. That's kind of the combo that I'm hearing. A little bit of JT Realmuto mixed in there. I would be fine with that. And then there's also the third baseman. I forgot his name from Japan. We'll see where he posts and what he does. I would find it really interesting and cool if we could get that third baseman, first baseman from Japan along with that pitcher Ime to pair with Yoshi, and kind of play the Dodgers and be that team that goes up against them. I that in my mind would be awesome. So that's really as
It,
much as I got as far as Red Sox news.
it'd be
Also for
awesome.
the Red
Go
Sox.
ahead, Eric.
Oh, sorry. I was just say for the Red Sox, they should take a page out of the Dodgers book too, just defer all the money. And
Oh, I was
then
just about to say there was another report that I read yesterday that I think it was Peter Abraham said that they are willing to go over the collective whatever the threshold is, they're willing to go over. So they
because
are willing to spend the money.
I mean, who knows whatever they're gonna do with the franchise long term, and if they want to win and they don't want to pay the actual dollars now, do exactly what the Dodgers are doing. Defer it down the road. Like, just make it easy. These players don't care when they get the money as long as they get the money.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing about
yeah.
the Red Sox and where I think that we're at with this team in the offseason. And Sonny Gray is a good move. I'm happy that they went and made something happen here off the rip, and we need to see more of it. And I really hope this is a domino effect of perhaps the team being ready to go back and get all in and get over that tax, as you just mentioned, Kraz. Go make a 350, $400 million payroll and go get it. Go up against the Dodgers and go fucking get it because you're in a position now where you have players like Roman Anthony and Rafaela and Christian Campbell and these guys that you signed to long-term deals on very affordable contracts, but you gotta go and you might have to go make a trade with a guy like Duran or Abreu in the outfield. I'm ready for them to put all the chips on the table. It's time. The Dodgers looked beatable in this World Series. Toronto just shit their pants, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
Uh, and the Red Sox. had injuries last year that affected them in the playoffs, no doubt. But they're there. But they need to be given that final 15-20% from ownership to get them all the way there.
I agree.
For sure. I just you know, one thing quickly, I saw Sonny Gray as being a replacement for Giolito. I think saying he's a number two guy is a little I won't say crazy, but it's a little
It's
out
generous.
there. It's generous for a guy who's kind of on the latter half of his career now, and I know he's putting up decent numbers, and I would love to see him in a three or fourth pitching role. But like Plotty alluded to, they need to go out and trade for Joe Ryan. That's a real number two guy. You put him behind Crochet, then you get Bayo onto Sonny Gray, onto maybe one of the Tolley or Connerly early, and then we're talking.
Yeah.
Then we got a pitching core that we can be like we can roll out and feel confident about. And then you got some good bats already in the system, and you fill that in with a few high rolling guys, and you've got a season on your hands where we just saw the Blue Jays go toe to toe with the Dodgers, and I think it's anybody's game in the American League at this point. So they got to go for it, especially with, like you said, with these guys on lower contracts.
I mean, realistically, throughout the season last year, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Yankees were all kind of neck and neck for at least the second half of the year. And yeah, the Red Sox were definitely surging in the second half. But like the gap, like you said, is not massive. And who's the other teams that you would be afraid of in the American League right now? Seattle, right? Like, there's really not anyone else that's really popping out that you're like, ooh, like besides the teams that were contenders for last year. So the Red Sox do have a golden opportunity to take the momentum that they grabbed last year, add some pieces to it, and really go on a run, not just for this next year, but really position themselves up nicely for the next three or four.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's going to be a fun season for the Sox, back to full health, and we'll continue to check in on the stove as it continues to have pots and pans and all different sorts of things put on it. Uh, right now, we're going to put on a little show. Big E is. We know what time it is.
Oh, it's my favorite time of the show. It's the time where we get to talk about the things that, they're stinky, the things that we don't like, the things that make us go, yeah, oh, get out of here, right? All right, we don't like those things. And then there are the things that we love, the things that make us get up from our beds in the morning, scream from the top of our lungs, go, oh yeah! Who's getting oh yeah or yeah oh this week?
Yeah, let's rip it. Mention this off the top, but the oh yeah of the week undoubtedly is the Monday Night Football theme. As you know, Big E was doing it a little bit
Mm,
earlier. Do 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 do, and just that
Do
gets
do
gets
do do
gets a little
do 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 do.
Kraz,
juice
we could have
flowing.
a little Amy Olsen, sing along here if we really wanted to. If you recall
We get
that,
the boxes and everything.
I know exactly. We're all in our remote
Who
locations.
wants to who wants to
Just don't
bark like a dog?
I just don't have the triangle.
Ding ding ding. Who
Ding
wants to
ding.
bark like a dog?
Woof
Woof.
Woof,
woof.
woof, woof.
Bark 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 bark.
Yes.
Bark, 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 bark.
Oh my God. There's gonna be like maybe like two or three people who understand what we just mentioned, and they're gonna fucking laugh their ass off at that. For those who don't, sorry. Real that's inside baseball right
I
there.
can't believe I caught that video, but yeah, that
So,
was a classic
and let's
video.
talk about some yeah-ohs. This is a good little topic here for us boys. Is the whole college football situation? Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, who's firmly in position to potentially go on a national championship run, going to LSU. The fact that the matter that this is all happening at this point in time is fucking crazy. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, I can't blame him for going for the LSU job
Nope.
because that is like a premier job in college football. And listen, I think he really had a hard time going for this job because I think he didn't want to leave Ole Miss and leave this team knowing it is a championship contending team. But I also get it from the Ole Miss side being like, well, hey, if you're just going to stay here and you're going to do well, are you just putting on basically a commercial for recruiting for LSU going forwards? So it really is a conundrum. And I think one of the things that could potentially come out of this is A, when the college portal opens on up, I think it opens up on January 2nd. They probably should slide that back until after the college playoff is done. I think that's probably one smart move. But also, too, I think the thing that you got to think of too is how often are we going to see a team that's in the playoffs, especially a team that's not like a name brand program. And listen, Ole Miss is a strong program in the SEC. How often are we going to see other times where this happens, right? Where there's a really good coach on a team that really isn't that big brand team, where there's a team like an Alabama and LSU, a Georgia that's looking to hire the next big thing, and they're going to poach them away. I want to tend to think that it's not going to happen often, but who knows? Like, what if you were the dude from Indiana? That dude is one of the hottest coaches in the league right now, and I don't think he's going anywhere because Indiana just gave him a huge extension. But this could have
Brinks
been a huge distraction for them this year too.
We
Indiana's
got
most
to.
likely going to get a bye, so like it's a
So
tough
hot.
thing to figure out. I don't have a solution. I wish I did. I think Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin wish that there were
If
solutions
you
there
had a
too.
solution, Biggie, you would not be on this podcast.
I'd be hobnobbing it with Charlie Baker, making some
Yeah,
big
That's
it all
waves
goes
in the
back
what was that
to
term that you just
NCAA.
used?
Hobnobbing it.
Okay.
hobnobbing.
All
That's
right.
what
Just
Tony
want to make
Maz did
sure
with
I
John
heard that
Henry up on the
properly.
box. He
Yeah.
Yeah,
hobnobbed it.
yeah, he hobnobbed it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great point, Eric, where you brought up Indiana and their head coach, and they signed the extension early on, and or not early on, but recently, and they're kind of set. Why didn't Ole Miss think of that? Why didn't they think to extend Lane Kiffin before the end of the season or before it got to this point and pay him like LSU has money, and that's what they're throwing at Lane Kiffin, and that's what he's taking.
It's
No
not just the
doubt.
money. It's not just the money that they're throwing at him. It's the resources behind the
Well,
program
It's
too.
tons of money, yeah, that
Ole
can go
Ole
towards
Miss had
players
don't there's some rich people in Mississippi as well. I mean
for
that
sure.
program that with him
Wealthy,
there
riches,
got
and food.
got to be into, a top program this year. I mean, they have a legitimate chance. I think college football. I mean, Ohio State and Indiana have had incredible years, but the SEC is now such a league that the teams eat the other teams alive. It's hard to come out of the SEC with no losses or a one-loss team. Like there's six, seven, eight unbelievable programs that are in there. Yeah, six, seven, six, seven. I think, fuck me. I can't believe we just did that. Terrible. Uh,
Terrible. It's
yeah,
okay.
that's
I'd
a
blame it
yeah.
on my
Terrible,
nephew.
terrible.
That's a yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Kraz, you
Talk
gotta
about a yeah. Oh,
Kraz, talk about something you
Yeah,
do
oh
know,
six
which is
seven.
apparently this museum that was no
yeah. Oh,
bueno.
yeah. So I went with a friend to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum this Friday, and if you guys haven't been, I really highly suggest you go.
I've been many
Um,
times. My wife is a member.
oh, okay. So you've seen the Rembrandt, you've seen the stolen Rembrandt, and
Yeah, it's the
the
biggest art heist of
frames.
all time.
Yeah, so I mean that for me to see the frame, and again, I don't want to ruin everything, but to like see the frames, like they still left them there and all that stuff empty. It was really fucking cool. Just the way that it's set up, it's not organized, it's not structured. You kind of go in and just look, and you don't even know that you're spending that much time there, and next thing you know, it's 2 or 3 hours have gone by, and it's not like the Wonder Museum where you have 45 minutes to go in and check it out and then hop out. You can spend as much time as you want in there. So I really highly recommend it to anyone that wants to go. It was a really good time, and the greatest thing about it was that it was about a uh, 0.8 mile walk from the Kaku. So so yeah, we went over to the Kaku, and of course, had
I
to
heat,
do it.
baby.
I had to do what I had to do. They tried fucking turning down the heat like always. I was like, and I went to go turn it up. She saw me and came back, turned it down. I was
New
like,
grill plate, please.
Oh, we'll go back. I'll go back and forth with you. And
Was
again,
JMAT there with you? Because
I
JMAT
want
kept
to bring
turning it
this up
up.
to you. They never once said to us. So they said to my friend, they were like, oh, have you guys ever been here? I was like, oh, of course I've been here. But my friend was like, no. And she was like, "Oh, only two pieces of fatty meat at a time and three pieces of regular meat at a time." I was like, fucking
What are you
shit.
talking about?
I
You
was like,
load that thing
bullshit.
up as much as
Yeah,
you
I'm
need.
loading
oh!
that
Yeah,
motherfucker up.
oh!
Yeah,
Yeah.
order
Oh,
that.
too many grease fires at the Kaku.
They
Yeah.
know. They
Did,
know.
wait, wait, wait. Was the
They
heat
see us
working?
walking in there like, oh boy, we're
That's
gonna
why
need
we had to
money.
keep the heat up at the fucking
Oh
table
yeah, I
because there
forgot
was no
about
heat
that.
in
Was
the
the heat on? Was the
restaurant.
heat on, Grass?
Oh, she turned it down. I
No, no,
turned
no,
it
no,
up.
no, no. Not the heat on the table. The heat in the actual room.
The
Oh
Because
no, not
last
at
restaurant.
time we
all.
were there in
No, it was
February, there
freezing.
were
I was
space
in a
heaters
jacket.
operating.
I was in a
Because
jacket.
oh, okay, so they haven't fixed the
They
heat.
don't turn the heat on in that
They
place.
do
The
that on
heat is
purpose.
they
They try
think
to
to
make you
themselves,
leave before
oh,
the time
I'll
limit.
just keep the
Well,
grill
no, you
on.
know what that's called? That's called they're gonna have their pipes explode because they're gonna freeze because they don't
Yeah,
turn on
no,
the fucking
they'll
heat.
just run like one faucet and have it drip and they'll be fine.
Well, you better call a plumber and get on it over at the Cock. We don't need any issues. All right, let's park the car, as J Matt has said over the past couple of weeks. Let's take the Pike home. Uh, Pats next week on the bye. Don't forget, instant Pats game reaction against the Giants coming right up after the Pike. But they're on the bye week next week, so no game. But several games with playoff implications next week. I'll just rattle through them. Lions and Cowboys on Thursday. Good Thursday night football game.
What the good thing about this one is they both played last Thursday, so it's a full week off. So it should be a
Correct.
really good Thursday night football game this week.
Should be a good one. Steelers and Ravens for jockeying of position for the AFC North, which is got to be
Steelers
the
are a shit
one of the
show.
most disappointing divisions this year for sure. Colts and Jags first place in the AFC South on the line. Bears and Packers, NFC North on the line. Chiefs and Texans fighting for playoff lives. Like great week of football,
Let's
even
go,
though the
Houston.
Pats aren't going to be playing. So get the red zone ready, get the quad box ready, blah blah blah. You know what to do. Uh, Keep the football going. You got college football playoff championships Friday and Saturday night, boys. Anything you're looking forward to in those games? Any games that stick out to you for college
Indiana, Ohio
football?
State.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah. I would go Division One AA to the URI Rams.
Ready,
They're
ready,
uh
ready.
they're on to the next
Rams, Rams,
round
Rams.
here, playing UC Davis on Saturday. So I don't know. I've never seen a good Rams football team, so like it's
I
Hey,
kind of
baby.
exciting.
10
unfortunately,
p.m. on
Gabe, I don't think you
ESPN.
will.
10 p.m. ESPN dose for URI football. If you ever
Hey,
told me that that was going to happen, uh, I think I got to stay up. I think I got
guys,
to
my
Whoa,
see.
my
whoa, whoa,
my
whoa, whoa!
program has been
URI
there
is
and
going to
done
be on
that. We
ESPN.
we've been in the D1 AA championship game. So I wish the best for you guys to make it that far. Maybe one day you
Your
guys two
football
will make it
program
back
has
to
a lot of
maybe
things
maybe
to
maybe you
fix.
guys will make it to Division One someday like us.
So does
Oh yeah.
ours.
Come
You're gonna
back.
sit
Come
hold on,
back.
shut the fuck up. You're gonna sit here and talk about Division One versus Division 1A when the UMass Minutemen should be in Division Two for how poorly that they've
No,
played in
that is
Division
bullshit
One.
because when I was there, we were in the D1 AA championship. So
That's
suck it.
fantastic. Exactly where you probably belong. They don't belong in Division One, that's for sure. It's the shittiest D1 program in all the land. It's
We're part of the
terrible.
way. Hey, listen, you want to know what we are part of? We're part of the Maction.
Yeah,
So
you're part of
just
the
Yeah.
Maction. You're
They're
probably one of
hoarding
the deranged
fireworks over there.
alumni donating to that
yes, we are
football
for field
program to
goals.
try and get McGurk Stadium troughs that you piss in out of there for some urinals.
McGurk Stadium is awful.
Yeah,
The troughs.
yeah,
McGurk.
McGurk,
yeah.
yeah, that's where I
McGurk.
graduated, baby.
Anyways, that's UMass and URI football for you. Real college football, baby. That's Northeast college football. All right, let's
Both
talk
suck.
Celtics week ahead. Big E, what's the game of the week for you?
Oh,
2-1.
Game of the week is easy. It's Friday, December 5th against the
Oh
Los
yeah.
Angeles Lakers. And listen, this is a tough one because the Knicks are a good opponent as well, and we're playing them this week. But you always have to get up for the rivalry against the Lakers. Hopefully, LeBum is playing, and so there'll be no excuses when they lose. That they have the full compliments of LeBron being there.
You mean
But
Padden
that's a nice.
McStats?
Yeah, right. But that is a 7 o'clock Friday evening game. So everyone get ready Friday night for your popcorn. Hopefully, good week ahead for the Celtics where they can continue string more winning weeks together.
Celtics
Over or under
Lakers
0.5 LeBron temper tantrums.
Oh,
Oh, way
over.
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 Way over.
All right, Celtics Lakers, big one as always when it's on the schedule. This one's at the Garden Friday night, 7 o'clock. Gabe, what sticks out to you on the Bruins schedule this week with 3 games?
So we got Red Wings, Blues, and Devils here. We just saw the Red Wings. That should be a good game. The Blues, always a good rivalry there, and you get to see Montgomery as their
And
coach.
Bennington.
Yeah, Binnington.
Screw that guy.
Oh,
I hate that guy.
Binnington.
Stealing pucks and shit.
Yeah, what an
Even I
asshole.
know that one.
Asshole, I know. But
Of
I'm
course,
most looking forward.
he's probably gonna play shutout hockey because he always fucking plays that against the Bruins.
Yeah, he becomes like, yeah, his old form. It's so annoying. Uh, Then they got the Devils, which the Devils are actually really good this year. Um,
Frank.
they're they're right at the top of the league with or the or the whatever you want to call it.
The
Metropolitan.
East.
The East. Yeah, I'm like mixing up sports here. But they're right up there with like the Carolinas and those really good teams. So it's always nice to see as like a stepping block of where the Bruins are at right now. So could get smoked, could be close, who knows?
It'll be a good week, hopefully for all the Boston sports teams. That's going to do it for us here. Instant Patriots versus Giants reaction coming up right now. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Patriots Giants right now.
Go Pats!
Fuck the Giants.
All right, we're here, Big E and myself, to break down a beautiful Patriots win here on Monday night. We're hopping on just under the 2 minute warning. Big E, good game. What are your takeaways from tonight?
Excellent game. I feel like first things first, this defense is just hitting like lights
Red
out.
jerseys,
Like
old school hitting, baby.
it reminds me of the old segment that used to be on SportsCenter or NFL Live back in the day, Jacked Up.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of plays tonight that would have been on Jacked Up back in the day.
It was a great win. Christian Ellis out there literally taking heads off. Hope Gunnar Olszewski's okay.
Yeah.
And the hit on Dart was a legal hit, and I hope that that hit happens, to somebody like a Mahomes or or Allen, so that we can just get to the point where it's like that's a hit. If you're inbounds, it's good to go. Like,
I think those hits have happened to those guys, but I think they're bigger guys. So when they have those types of hits, it doesn't have the same impact on like the one that Jackson Dart did. Because, he is a little bit of a smaller dude and he could have gone out of bounds earlier. So sucks to suck.
yep. And as we say that, minute 8 left here in the game. Christian Ellis gets a paw on it on fourth down. The Patriots will go into victory formation and go to 11-2 on the season. Biggie, I think that's the biggest takeaway. They take care of business going into the bye week. They have an opportunity to rest up and get healthy. And then you have the stretch run. We've talked about it for a while now. These games coming up against Baltimore and Buffalo. Are the litmus test of the season. Can you go and take care of business against two likely playoff teams and sort of secure that number one seed in the process?
Yeah, I mean, some other things that were big things tonight too. Drake May just continues to dominate. He almost had his 300-yard passing game, but they got that touchdown to Hunter Henry called back. But tons of yards, very efficient. Overall, just looks very comfortable in the pocket. It was nice to see Kayshon Boutte show back on up and get a nice touchdown. Overall, offense looks like it's clicking, and the defense for the most part tonight was awesome.
Yeah, defense was great. First half offensively, really nice to see. Good to see Ramondre
Yep.
get back in there. Henderson, another good game, and the Patriot. It's just been I was talking with Mrs. P, and I was just like, they're back. Like this looks like the Patriots of old. Still some things to fix in the red zone, and get that scoring up, but it's been a magical
Oh,
ride.
oh, for sure. And we can't not talk about all three phases of the game here as well because
Marcus.
the special teams was great. Marcus Jones, that punt return, overall just like the defense, just like the not just that punt return, but I think there have been a few that were pretty decent. And then the one play of the game that I think will be memed out from this, just like the butt fumble was the turf toe kick where
Oh,
young Hoku just missed the ball and just kicked the ground. I don't know how that happens, but it did, so we'll take it.
don't think it is on par with the butt fumble. That's what came to mind. Not quite as comical, but just I don't think I've ever seen that in terms of just completely missing the ball and whiffing, and that's got to hurt your toe in the process as well. Like
Yeah.
that's not great. Um, any other takeaways, Biggie? I mean, we got the bye week next week, so
Yep.
we'll be back next week. It's great we're having Mike Balteri on. He wasn't able to join us a couple weeks ago, but he's well versed in college football, so we'll be breaking that down with Mike. And the Patriots up to 11-2. Big E. It's good.
Back to number one in the East, the AFC East.
Hey,
Obviously, they're staying there,
hey,
but
let's
number one in the
listen.
AFC.
It's late. All concepts of time. Some
Time
green
is a
for
flat circle.
some green for green was probably enjoyed in the past couple of hours as well.
Oh no,
So,
no, no, no.
never, never. All right, near, far, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in. That's your Giants Patriots recap. Erky, suck it. Peace.
See ya.